My name is Regina, and I had a friend tell me that there would be a lot of people interested in seeing what I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna maybe try it. So I am 42 years old, mother of three, grandmother of two, and about a year ago, actually, let's go back farther. About 4 years ago, I started watching and seeing posts on Pinterest and Facebook for tiny houses. And it fascinated me. And I was so drawn to the idea of the simplicity of a tiny house and the idea of being self sustaining and independent from utility bills and other things that we find ourselves trapped in by my age, if not way earlier, that you just feel like you might not ever get around. My life has not been a cup of tea. Had a lot of ups and downs, some of them my own mistakes, and some of them just simple life situations. So, as a result of last year's life situations, which started with my mom passing away in February, and then a daughter who was going through her first pregnancy, ended up being diagnosed and going through what's called hydronephrosis. And long story short, she was in a lot of pain all the time from the pressure of the baby on her kidneys, which was causing her urine to back up, and so she wasn't emptying. And we ended up in the hospital, usually 7 to 10 days, every 7 to 10 days, from February to June when the baby was born. Because of her husband's job, he was not always readily available to go and take her when she was in such pain, so I was the go-to person, and I did it willingly and lovingly. So that was a long traumatic time. And then in July, my husband left at my request. It was a mutual thing. We just got to the point where we were saying we were done. And so I asked him to leave, tried to do it with as little hate and negativity as possible. Then that led to even more financial stress than I was already in. So I ended up moving in with my daughter after she had given birth to our beautiful grandbaby, Haven. And I moved in with them with the plan of purchasing a small building, getting it electric ready, moving out into it on their property until I could find my own property to move it to, and working on it a little at a time. Well, life continued to happen. I ended up having to take a leave of absence from work due to anxiety and stress. I would have panic attacks at work. I just couldn't function. My son, in the end of October, beginning of November, ended up in the hospital, almost died. And so my life had just had its limit last year. My therapy was working on this tiny house, and things have not gone as smoothly as I hoped. There's been a lot of other extra bumps along the way, some financial stress that caused things to be backed up. I actually started the process, because of being off of work for 3 months, about $3,000 behind my original projected budget and timeline. What was supposed to be a couple of months at my daughter's ended up being 7. And I moved from there into a camper with my 17-year-old daughter, who has been very patient through this process, even though she's been displaced a couple of times. So anyway, I finally found property in January, was able to find somebody who did owner financing and has several hundred acres to sell. And I bought a lot, 6.6 acres. It was one of the proudest days of my life, being 42 and never owning a home or owning anything outright. It was just a pretty amazing experience. One of the things that I did learn while I was working on my tiny house during those 3 months off of work was that the stress and anxiety that I was dealing with was definitely life coming in on me, but also work related. Work became a very stressful atmosphere for me. And even though I was tired and sore at the end of every day when I worked on the house, and I mean worked on the house by myself, literally nobody helping for months at a time, lifting boards, driving nails, doing things I had never done before. I was sore, but it was tolerable, and it was invigorating because I was accomplishing something. So everything is a disaster right now, and there's a part of me as a neat freak and perfectionist, like I've always been, that doesn't really want to show what's going on right now, but I will show you where I'm at this point. I'm actually in my home, on my property. We have no running water, and I only have electricity by a small generator. So we only run a limited amount of appliances and things. I don't leave it on throughout the day. And I'm actually going to do solar panels and harvest rain, where I was originally going to go ahead and have the electric company come out and the water company set a meter so that I would have those things. Again, through some series of circumstances, that didn't happen. So anyway, on to the little tour for the moment. And like I said, forgive the mess. I'm still in the process of trying to minimize all of the stuff of 42 years of life. And it has taken some time and will continue to take time. So here we go. I'm going to switch this around, I think, to view